Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, thank you.
Can you unmute yourself? Aziz Ba, I muted everybody. Can you unmute yourself?
Ji. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting this Garib and Nachis. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the kind words and encouragement, as always. And thank you for your friendship and great platform to present some of the great topics. And inshallah, today's topic is not easy, but I think it would be a great topic to talk about. Let me see when you do see my screen, and then we will start. All right, do you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
All right, perfect. So let's look at the topic, and then we will ask Mola Baba to help us with this topic. And like I said, it's not an easy topic, but inshallah, with Imam's help and mercy, we will be able to deliver in the way that everybody will be able to understand. We will use some examples to make it easy understanding. The subject is, what is soul? And what is its ascent and descent? Rusu che, ane kem ave che, ane kem jai che. Eno upar chadwano, ane niche utarano, ji kanun che, ji eni sidi che, I કેવી રીતે છે. બહુ જ મુશ્કેલ સબ્જેક્ટ છે, લેકિન અગર મૌલાની મહેરબાની રહી અને આપણે બધાની કોશિશ રહી, તમારી દુઆ હશે, તો આપણે ઇન્શાલ્લાહ આને સારી તરહ સમજી શકશું. નૂર મૌલાના શાહ કરીમ અલ-હુસૈની હાજર ઇમામ. યા મૌલાએ મહેરબાન, या मौलाए मेहरबान, या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा. नूर मौलाना शाह करीम हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम. या मौला तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला. तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला. या मौला उताना नूर सी हमारी दौड़नी करजे मौला. या मौला हमारा करीब आवी जा मौला. एकदम करीब आवी उताना हाथ हमारा माथे राख मौला, ताकि हमें तारा नूरानी शफकत ने अंदर रही ने कोई सारो काम करी सके मौला. या मौला मेहरबान, शुक्रगुजारी है इते हमें गरीबों लो आ काम ना माटे सेलेक्ट करो छे मौला. नूर मौलाना शाह करीम हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम. With your pure and pak name we begin. Soul. આપણા દિમાગમાં જ્યારે આપણે કહીએ છીએ રૂ, તો શું વાત આપણા દિમાગના અંદર આવે છે? When we say soul, what comes to our mind? Think about it for a second. What comes to our mind when we say soul? Questions. Do we have one soul, or are we or in our one soul, there are combination of souls, or there are different attributions of one single soul. Where this soul comes from, how this soul comes to existence in us. What is the process? What are the stages? Where does it begin? How is it formed? All of those great questions. How do we understand the ascent and the descent of the soul? Do we have one kind of soul, or do we have different kinds of souls within us? What are their functions? If there are different kinds, then what are the functions of those souls? So many questions, right? Like I said, it's not an easy subject. Not an easy subject. All right.
So I can't hear. I don't know why.
Someone's phone is unmuted.
Um,
All right. So what I did to make it easier for us to understand, I've tried to write in Urdu as well. So some of the terms that I will use, I'm going to use in English and Urdu both for our easy understanding. So, soul, where does it begin? And how does the soul comes in existence? And then how does the soul comes into the human existence or in human body? All right, so that's how we're going to start. Look at your chart. There are some hard, very, very hard terms and terminologies. But I will share, you can take a screenshot if you like. I will share the PDF so you would have it. I have already shared this chart with Farida Bai. She can share with you. And like I said, you can take a screenshot. Anytime you have a question or comment, hold the comments. If you have a question, if I'm going too fast, just raise your hand. Don't unmute. Don't say anything. Just raise your hand. I will stop. I will see what is the issue and we will go back to it. So we don't miss anything. Today is going to be about 1 hour class and then we will start on question and answer. Okay? So, Ruhe Munjamid. Munjamid, collective, frozen soul. Ruhe Munjamid, collective, frozen soul. Now there are different names used for this soul. One is Kabinda. Kabinda, sleeping. Other one is frozen. But one term that we have used, and Imam have used from the Quran, and that is Nafse Wahida. Nafse Wahida, one single soul. Now, when you think of one single soul, you automatically have that understanding. We are talking about collective soul. All of the soul in one single soul. Collective soul. Other two names for the collective souls are Nafsun Wahida, frozen soul. We are all on the same page? Good. We don't have to understand everything at the beginning. At the end, we will make sure we understand everything. Okay? step by step. Because understanding soul cannot be that easy. All right? So initially, the souls are in one single soul, Nafsun Wahida, in the soul of the Imam. May I request everyone, if you need to be on other calls, just drop from this call and then join the other call. And when you're ready, come and join us so it doesn't get disturbed here. Thank you. So, frozen soul, in other word, one single soul, in other word, Nafsun Wahida. All different names for our understanding. The simplest understanding is one single collective soul. Just remember that. One single collective soul. And that is in the Imam-e Zaman. The soul is where? In the Imam. He is the Wakulle Shayin, where everything is compassed in him, in one single soul. Imam used the word Nafsun Wahida from the Quran, which is in Surah Nisa, ayat number 1. You all good? All right. And then, when time comes, the soul is broken or divided or broadcast. उर्दू में इसको नशर कहते हैं. खोल देना, बेच देना, ओपन कर देना, जाहिर कर देना, छूटा छोड़ देना, ये सारे नाम से हम उसको समझ सकते हैं. इंग्लिश में particle soul. Particle soul. Okay? उर्दू में ज़रात. यानी कि एक फ्रोजन जो सोल थी, जब उसको छूटा पड़ा गया, उसको तोड़ा गया, उसको खुला छोड़ा गया, तो वो ज़रात के अंदर आ गया. Take the example, big piece of ice, about this big piece of ice. When you melt that ice, what happens? We have a lot of water. And if you make it drop, 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 you have hundreds and thousands of drops of water. But when you put them together, it was one single piece of ice. Everybody's with me? रूह एक बहुत बड़ा फ्रोजन टुकड़ा था. जब उसको तोड़ा गया तो वो टुकड़े टुकड़े, पीसेस पीसेस, ड्रॉप ड्रॉप, पार्टिकल पार्टिकल हो गया. But remember, the core is same. What is the core of the ice and the water? Is attribution. And what is the attribution of water? 1 part hydrogen, 2 part oxygen, H2O. 2 part hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. That's the attribution, right? Regardless of if it's frozen or unthawed. All right? I'm going to use this example again, a little bit further down. So remember this example. Ice and water. Frozen soul, Nafsun Wahida, and particle soul, divided, opened in the particles. Okay. Then particle soul comes into mineral soul. You notice, not human soul, mineral soul. What is mineral soul? Ruhe Jamadati. रूए जमादाती। यहां पर आप उर्दू में देख सकते हैं, रूए जमादाती, मट्टी की रूह, द मिनरल सोल। The soul, the particles now have a format, something that we can see. Even though particles could have been seen, but it would require some tools. It would require some eyes to see the soul in the form of particle. But when it's in the mineral soul, we can say now it's easy for anyone and everyone to see. But at the same time, someone can challenge, ask question. You mean there is a soul in particles? There is a soul in the mineral? There's a soul in the dust, in the rock, in the mountain? Imam Aka Sultan Maulana Shah Sarbatullah Alayhi, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam, have said in his memoirs that everything has a soul. Everything has a soul. What is the proof that mineral has soul? Is there any proof to that? That even mineral have soul? Yes, more than one proof, more than one. If the dust, matti, if there was no soul in it, it would never be able to convert into anything. For example, from dust to rock, rock to mountains, from the mountain to precious gems. You see, the red ruby and all kind of precious rocks, precious gems, are due to that the mineral has a soul, and soul is converting, progressing, ascending from the particles, almost unseen, to mineral, seen, to rock, to mountain, and then into the precious gems. Without soul, there would be no progression. There will be no progression. And we will see how human progress at the same law. The law that we are learning, human progress on the same law. Meaning at one time, we were in Nafsun Wahida, frozen soul. One time we were in the mineral soul, particle soul. Then we came into the mineral soul, and we will talk about the further down. Then from the mineral soul, it becomes changed into vegetative soul. Urdu mein ruhe nabadati, darak ki ruh, vegetative soul. When mineral gives itself up, it changes the shape and the form from the dust, from the mineral, converts into the vegetation, So in vegetation, we can say there are two attribution of the soul, First, mineral soul. Second, vegetative soul. So does it have a two soul, or does it have an attribution of two soul? The correct answer would be it has attribution of the two soul. First, mineral, and second, vegetative. What is the difference between mineral soul and vegetative soul? The vegetative soul has one attribution of growing compared to mineral. Mineral does not grow, it collects, it becomes rock, it collects, become mountain, it changes the form into precious gem, but it does not grow. So compared to that, vegetative soul grows. So we can say vegetative soul is more alive compared to mineral soul. So mineral soul is dead soul. Vegetative soul is a live soul. Comparison, okay? Just the comparison. Now, how do we know the vegetation has a soul, a living soul? What is the proof? Number one, it grows. Number two, when the soul leaves from the vegetation, it turns the color from green to brown. And when it completely dies, it goes from brown to yellowish, and eventually it dissolves itself. Guess what? What does it dissolve itself into? Into mineral soul. It becomes dust again. How great that lesson is, how quickly we were able to learn and understand. I don't think anybody would have a question on that. When you see the leaf falls on the ground, changes the color, eventually it becomes dust. Back one into the ground. It goes back to its original soul, which was the mineral soul. अब समझ गया? एक घास ना अंदर, पत्ता ना अंदर, झाड़ ना अंदर, બે કિસ્મની રૂ હોય છે, એક મટ્ટીની અને એક ઝાડની. ઝાડની રૂ જે છે એ મોટી ને નાની થાય છે, ચેન્જ થાય છે, ગ્રો થાય છે. કેમ ખબર પડે એના અંદર રૂ છે? શું કમે કે એનો કલર જે છે ને એ આપણને કહે છે કે એમાં જાન છે કે નથી, રૂ છે કે નથી. એ ગ્રીન થઈ જાય છે. ને પછી જ્યારે રૂ મરી જાય છે તો એ પહેલે પીળો પડી જાય છે, પછી બ્રાઉન થઈ ને મટ્ટીના સાથે પાછું મળી જાય છે. જેવી રીતે વેજીટેશનની સોલ નીકળી ગઈ, બાકી મટ્ટીની રૂ મળી ગઈ તો એ મટ્ટીમાં પાછી મળી ગઈ. ખતમ. પોતાની ઓરિજિનમાં પાછી હેલી ગઈ. What lesson do we learn from here? From just vegetation. Even when vegetation dies, it goes back to its origin. Remember this lesson, because this lesson will become handy for us. And we will break all of those ill concepts of reincarnation. Because once we learn where our original have come from, we shall return back to our origin. Example we just used of the leaf, the vegetation back into the dust, because that was his origin. We all good? I don't see any hand raised. Easy lesson so far, step by step. Third, animal soul. Ruhe hewani. Ruhe hewani. Ya ruhe hewaniyat. Janwar ki ruh. Now, if we say that animal has three attribution, three kind of soul, and that would be mineral soul, vegetative soul, and animal soul, then we would be right. How does mineral soul is in animal? The body of animal cannot be the body of animal without mineral soul. Just like mineral becomes rock, solid. It was the mineral soul which made the animal solid form a body. Without mineral soul, that would not be possible. Because matti becomes mud, and we can collect that and mold the body, the shape and the form of the animal. How do we know animal has a vegetative soul? Because they grow. The growing part comes from vegetative soul. The growing part. How do we know it has animal soul? Because animal soul have two functions. Animal soul has two functions: moving and sound. Not speaking. Moving and sound. So they move and they make sound. This sound part is called Rue Natika. Speaking or making sound, that part. So animal has three souls. Because it has a Rue Hewani, they move and they make sound. Because of the vegetative soul, they grow. Because of the mineral soul, they are collective. They form the shape of their body. Easy breezy. आराम से समझिए आपने? कोई मुश्किल नहीं यहाँ तक? Okay. Now we're going to come into the human. Before I take you into the human, I want you to remember, where did our origin, the initial soul came from? Where? From the Imam. In what form? It was in the Nafsul Waida, frozen shape. In other words, easy language for us, collective soul. Then from there it went into the particles. Where was this particle? Where can I find this particle? In the man's back. In the man's back. And from the man, this particle was transformed, converted, transported into the woman's womb. And there it became a mineral soul. How did it become mineral soul from the particle? When the man's sperm and woman's blood got mixed together, it became collective, like a mineral and a rock. It became together and took the next shape, and that was the mineral form in the mother's womb. Because of the mother's eating habit, mother has the vegetative soul in her blood. That part does not come from the father. It came from the mother. So the baby starts to grow. So we can say in the mother's womb, the baby already have gained two attributions of the soul. And that is, it collected the particle, became mineral soul, and grew into the vegetative soul. Are everyone with me? Am I speaking too fast? કઈ ગુજરાતીમાં બોલવાની જરૂર છે? બધા સમજી ગયા એ કેવી રીતે બાપ સી એક માણસ સી પાર્ટિકલની સુરતમાં મધરના અંદર આ સોલ આવી પછી મધરના બ્લડ સી એ કન્વર્ટ થઈને મિનરલ સોલના અંદર કન્વર્ટ થઈ ગઈ ચૂંકે મધર ખાઈ પીએ છે તો એના અંદર વેજીટેટિવ સોલ પણ છે તો એના અંદર વેજીટેટિવ સોલની ખુસુસિયત એટ્રીબ્યુશન પણ આવી ગઈ હવે બચ્ચો માના પેટમાં વધવા માંડ્યો કેટલી કિસ્મની રૂ છે રૂ તો એક જ છે એના કેટલા કામ છે એક કે जिस्म બનાવે મિનરલ સોલ એક કે जिस्मનો મોટો કરે વેજીટેટિવ સોલ everyone with me that is the miracle of the imam that he makes the hard subject the most hardest subject to explain ruh and he makes it easy for us you see it was not that hard now hard part is still coming okay but if we understood so far inshallah imam is with us standing right next to us he's blessing us his rahmat is on us we will be able to learn this all right now if I would ask question again when does human soul comes into their baby even though baby is in mother's womb if you take a sonogram it may even look like a human baby but does that baby have human soul or even animal soul think let me give you a couple of seconds what was the attribution of animal soul moving and what was the second one sound if you are paying attention to the lesson there was two attribution of the animal first one was moving does baby starts to move and one hand we can say yes and the other hand we can say no why no because baby floats baby floats what is my proof that baby floats does not move the proof is khuda na khasta god forbid and if there is anyone on this line any of my sister my daughters my mothers if this part what I'm about to say is too close to your heart emotionally I ask for forgiveness upfront god forbid if this baby was still baby in your body it still will float but not move correct so even though the baby is moving but let's call that the baby is floating in mother's womb because the animal soul has not taken its place yet. So kiddo, hajun tak ji animal soul છે ને એ પૂરી તરહ જિંદા નથી થઈ હજુ તક પૂરી તરહ થી એના અંદર ઉજાગર નથી થઈ હજુ તક આશા से થાય છે હજુ તક નથી થઈ it will become but not yet what I'm trying to do here I want to give you a complete cycle how soul comes into existence that's what we are trying to learn here at this point it has two attribution the mineral and the vegetation animal soul is coming so now baby is growing let's say it is at 7, 8, 9 months At that time, what does mother feels? Notice, baby is kicking. Baby is kicking. Baby is moving. What did we just learn from that? The baby have gained the one part of animal soul, and that is what? The moving part, not the speaking part. So animal soul comes in two forms. First is the moving, and second is the speaking. When does baby gain the second soul, the speaking part? One can say after the baby is born. And you can see sometimes as soon as the baby is born, it does not have that ruhe natika. And sometimes you have to slap them a couple of times, wake them up, right? Sometimes you have to tap them. You have to shake them. And then it comes the ruhe natika, the speaking soul. The two part of the ruhe natika. Okay, this one is just the first one. What was that? Just making sound without any speech. Just like animal, right? Animal cry, animal barks, animal makes sound without any speech. So when baby is born, how many soul does this baby has now? Mineral soul, vegetative soul, and animal soul. The third part of animal soul does what? Baby moves, kicks, moves the hand, is able to suckle, drink milk, make sound, cry, and all of that. It looks like a human baby, doesn't it? What is the human attribution in that baby? You will not be able to name single one. There is no human attribution, except it looks like human. That's it. Aji barak amna peda thiyo, ema insan ni su khususiyat છે. શું એવું છે જે આપણે કહીએ કે આ ઇન્સાન છે? દેખાવામાં ઇન્સાન છે, મગર ઇન્સાનની કોઈ બી એટ્રીબ્યુશન એના અંદર નથી. એના અંદર નથી. ખાલી દેખાવામાં ઇન્સાન છે. અહીંયા હું તમને એક વાત ક્વેશ્ચનના તौर માથે કરી નાખું છું, તાકે આખરીમાં કોઈ મને પૂછે. શું ક્વેશ્ચન છે? Why some babies are born still? That will be a great question. Why some baby after born does not grow? Great question. Why does some baby grow deaf and dumb? Great question. If anyone would like to ask me at the end, I'll be more than happy to explain. Because we are learning the soul, and we can learn how the soul works in each one of those questions. All right, so let's move forward. So now we have an animal soul, and as we talked about, the animal soul has the two attribution. One is the movement, and second is the sound, the speech. Okay, and this one is called ruhe natika, a lower level, because the baby can make sound but cannot make sense, meaning the movement is there, the sound is there, but the words, the speech is not there. So whenever baby says something, it makes no sense to us because it's not a full speech, but a sound. So what name did we give? We say it's the Rue Natika, but at the lower level, because there is Rue Natika at the higher level. So learn a key principle. Whenever you learn or someone say one, that means there is two also. When we say lower, that means there is higher also. When we say that's where it begins, meaning it's going to go forward. If you don't catch those words, you will never understand what the teacher is trying to teach you, because you are not paying attention to those key principles. All right, so pay attention to that. So this is a Rue Natika at lower level. Now, let's talk about human soul. Human soul. Human soul is at 3 levels. How amazing is that? The human soul is at the 3 levels. All right? So number 1, the human soul initially is called rational soul. We don't even call it human soul yet, because that baby look like a human, but it's not human yet, because it does not have any attribution of rationalizing things. Does baby know what is good for him or her? No. Why? Because it doesn't have a rational soul. Does baby know what can I do to safeguard myself? No, because it doesn't have rational soul. So now let's look at 3 kinds of rational soul. Here, you can ask yourself a question. Remember, we are in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Do we have complete human soul? If I ask someone to unmute, let's say 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old, and if I ask you, you have human soul, you may say yes, and I can challenge you. So let's talk about 3 kinds of rational soul. So without telling me, without telling anyone, you can answer yourself, am I human yet? What do you mean, am I human yet? Are we human yet? Let's find out. Let's find out if we are human or not. 3 kinds of rational soul. First one is called self-rational. I'm almost certain that most of you have never, ever even heard of this thing, as this is not a generic, normal ilm. First, self-rational. What is self-rational? Something that you rationalize, but only for yourself, not for others. And this is a test for us, okay? Are we human? That's the question. Remember that is the test. When you tell a baby, let's say baby 3, 4, 5-year-old, she started to run around. Sometimes she pick up the match box of matches. She may go toward the iron hot, curly iron for a woman, close to the stove, ચૂલાના બાજુમાં જાય ને આપણે બેબીને કહીએ, બેટા જો આગ છે ને તને બારી નાખવાની, ચૂલા પાસે નહીં જાજે, ઇસ્ત્રીને હાથ નહીં લગાડજે, કરલી આયરન બહુ ગરમ છે, ટચ નહીં કરજે તો બરી જવાની, માચીસ ને નહીં બારજે, ટીલી બારવાની ને તો બરી જવાની. We teach that to our children, right? And we teach them all the time. in their mind, because rational soul has not developed, you know what they think? That everything you just taught them is only for them. Is only for them. I'm sure in your family, in your friend circle, or somewhere you have heard that one child harmed the other child. Sometimes they put a match to it. Sometimes they touch the iron to the brother and sister, curly iron to each other. Sometimes they put a hand on the straw and burn. You know, there are thousands of stories like that. What they think in their mind and heart, that this rational, what you have taught them, it only applies to me, no one else. And let me show you that in us grown up. You know, sometimes we say things to others so harshly, and we think that because I'm hurt, when you say those things, they will not get hurt. You don't want that for yourself, because if somebody tells you that, you will say, oh, mane nahi kyo tame, maru dil dukh se. But we are saying same thing to them. Never ever given a second thought that our word can harm them, can hurt them, can burn them. આપણે આજે બી આ કરીએ છીએ, આપણે 50, 60, 70 વર્ષના થઈ ગયા છે. Don't we? Be honest, don't we? You know why? We are still like a baby when it comes to rational soul. We never developed the second level of soul, the second level of rational soul. What does second level of rational soul teaches? Whatever can harm you, whatever can hurt you, whatever can burn you, will also hurt, harm, and burn others. If you don't want something for yourself, do not use those words for others. If you don't want it to be hurt, make sure you don't hurt someone else. If something you don't like for others to talk about you, don't talk about others. You know why we gossip? Why we backbite? Because we don't have the second level of rational soul. We are like a child. We only have one rational soul, and that is me, and me. Self, and self. Is all about me. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get burned. I don't want to get harmed. We never give second thought for the others. So the second rational soul is called near-sighted rational. Look at this name, near-sighted rational. And baby think that what can harm me also can harm my brothers and sisters only. They cannot see too far. And when they go out into the playground, they will never do that to the brother and sister, but they do that to their friends outside. Now, let's talk about ourselves. We are so good to ourselves, no doubt. We are also sometimes good to our family. But when it comes to others, we don't have that rational soul. Mara bhai ben ne tame kai nahi kyo. But at the same time, we can say anything and harm any way possible to others. Do you see that? We are still childish in our rational soul. Our rationality never developed. So what do we have? The second, the near-sighted rational soul. So we only think what is good for us is also good for my family. and that's it. We cannot even see far away. We don't even extend the same courtesy to our friends, our Jamaat. Because we never developed their rational soul. Now comes to the third kind of rational soul. Let me give you a news. We're still not human yet. Because we don't have those 3 levels of rational soul. We only talked about first one and second one. And I'm going to be honest with you. We have not even developed the first one or the second one. Ask yourself, you don't have to answer me. Do you ever gossip? If your answer is yes, you have not developed the second rational soul. Do you ever backbite? If answer is yes, you have not developed the second rational soul. Do you say things that hurt others? You have not developed the second rational soul. You think we are human? Because humans are supposed to have fully rational soul. Full-fledged rational soul. So let's come to the third rational soul. Okay? The third one is called human. Now he is a human. Arif with realization. One action can hurt entire humanity. આપણું એક જબાન, આપણું એક કામ, આપણું એક એક્શન ના સિર્ફ આપણી ફેમિલીને, આપણા ફ્રેન્ડને, આપણી જમાતને, બલકે બધા માણસોને તકલીફ પહોંચાડી શકે છે. Example. When my brothers and sisters, they're living in the East, third world country. જ્યારે આપણે બારે કચરો ફેંકીએ છીએ, pollution કરીએ છીએ. You know why you do that? As long my home is clean, I don't care. બારે કેટલો કચરો છે. Which rational soul do you have? The first, the second, or the third? The first. Because you have not even developed the second one. Just first one. All right? Now, in the people they're living in the Western countries, all the wastage we have, we have more wastage in each country than all the countries combined in the third world. Especially plastic, paper, other electric wastage. We waste so many things. On top of that, wastage of our resources. We waste, we don't share. We waste, we don't share. Because we don't have the third rational soul. So who has the third rational soul? The one who is completely human. In example, peers, imam, arifin, momineen, એ લોકોનું દિલ બધા માટે ભરતું હોય. એ લોકો ક્યારે બી કોઈની ગિલાગીબત ના કરે. એ લોકો ક્યારે બી મોઢામાં એવા શબ્દ ના લાવે કે જેનેથી બીજાને કોઈ તકલીફ થાય. તો કામે કે એને એમ લાગે કે આ વાત જે મારા માટે ઠીક નથી, આના માટે બી ઠીક નથી. So what does he do? He uses his words, his action wisely. So they are wise men, and they are the true humans. They are the true humans. And you will notice, those people, they would have hardly any wastage. You will never find them dirty. They will never throw trash outside. You will find them very clean people. You will find them very soft-spoken people. You will find them very careful people. And you will find them using their resources in a wise manner. Because they have developed rational soul at the highest level. at the complete level. And therefore, they are called human. They are called Arifin, Momineen, Peers, Dais, Imams, etc. But it's not that we cannot come that. Yes, we can come that too. Only thing we have to do what? Become a rational person, a rational human. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard. We can be a rational human being. We just have to give up gossiping. Okay, not so hard. Not so easy, right? We have to give backbiting. Not so easy. Okay, we have to give up our vestige. Maybe we can do it. But can we do it? 100% definitely we can do it. So, three kinds of rational soul completely makes a human soul. Now we are human. But now there is one more issue. One more soul we are looking for. Even though we are human, but we are not a complete human yet. Complete human yet. All right? So before I go there, in Urdu, rational soul, Ruh-e Akli, individual, in the group, and in the humanity at the three level. Then comes the Insani Ruh. Now we have a human soul because we are rational animal. We are rational human being. Up until this point, what do we have? Mineral soul, vegetative soul, and animal soul. Animal soul with speech. That's all we have. Then we develop rational soul one by one by one. And if we are able to do that, now we are a human and we have human soul. Now tell me, when does human soul comes into human body? We can argue sometime when we are 17, 18-year-old, sometime when we are 40, 50-year-old, sometime when we are 60, 70-year-old. Bad news, sometime never. We live our entire life without having a human soul. You know what Imam says in his Farman? Tamara mane janwar masu farak che. Tame bhi peda thiya, tem pad peda thiya, tame bhi khadu pidu, ye bhi khadu pidu, tame bhi bacha banaya, ye bhi bacha banaya, tame bhi mari jaso, ye pan mari jase, tamara ane janwar masu farak che. You know what Imam is telling you? Where is your rational soul? What is wrong with you? You are human. Develop rational soul. That is what Imam is telling you. Why don't we ask question? What do you mean, Imam? What do you mean we are not human? Teach us, tell us, coach us, guide us, so we can become Imam. We can become human with Imam. How come we don't ask question? That is the question we're supposed to have asked long time ago. Not when we are at this age. So when does human soul comes? Anytime after we are adult, anytime before we die, and sometime, unfortunately, never. But that is up to individual, okay? Individual being. Now we are looking for one more soul. As a human, we are looking for one more, like our Dais, our Peers, our Arifin, our Bhagat, our Momineen. What soul are we looking for? Imam's soul. It's called Holy Spirit. Ruhul Quddus. Now we want to not only become human, we wanted to become angels. And how do we become angel? When we have Ruhul Qudus in us. How do we gain Ruhul Qudus? Just like any other soul, a process. First, we become human, a rationalized human. Then, through the ibadat and through the submission, we gain Ruhul Qudus. And then, after we become angels with Ruhul Qudus, that soul, the Ruhul Qudus, the soul of the Imam, take place in us. At that stage, we can become one with the soul of the Imam. That is the complete cycle from the ascending to descending soul. We were with the Imam, particles, mineral, vegetative, animal, rational, human, Ruhul Qudus, back into the Imam soul. If we are in Imam soul, what position are we in? Nafsun Vaida. What was the other name for that? Collective soul. What was the other name for that? One single soul. What is the other name for that? Soul of the Imam. That is the complete cycle of the soul. That is our 1 hour right here. Let's make sure we did not leave anything here. I just want to read this note. The Holy Spirit is not an additional soul, but our original soul. We are back to our origin, back to the ocean of the soul of the Imam, a collective single soul. So I will stop here, and inshallah, we can discuss any term you like me to repeat in Urdu, Gujarati. Please raise your hand and we can start the conversation. Ji.
Can I add something, sir?
Ji.
आपने बोला था subject is going to be very difficult, which is right. It was very difficult, but you explained to us properly. I just wanted to find out from you what is your view, because I remember when at school during my senior days, we were given this lecture about soul, that is what we were told at that time, and that when a body, when a man dies, the soul goes back to its owner, to Allah, we are to him return. And on the day of resurrection, which was, I think, Yom Hisab Kadin, all the souls will be gathered together, and there will be two angels. One will be who has written the good deeds that you have done, and the other who has written the bad deeds you have done. I think there was a name for this, but I can't remember it. Is this a true story, or is it a true account for it, or is it what we were told was long time ago? Can you put some light on this?
Actually, you answered within your question. Shiraz Bhai is a very smart man. He used the word story.
You are right.
That was your answer right there. Absolutely a story. That was your answer. So,
Okay.
when we die, and I'm going to tell you something, this is not new. I have said this many times before on this channel. Before you die, 3 seconds before you die, all your accounting is done. All your accounting is done. 3 seconds before you die. So what are we waiting for, Qiyamah? Your Qiyamah is the day you die. That's the day is your Qiyamah. And the accounting is done that day. 3 seconds before you die. So everything else is just a story, not a true event. The true event is that before a human dies, his accounting is done. G. Monica, go ahead.
Yeah, Madad.
Madad.
My goodness, this was so well explored, and the way you analysed and explained. Actually, we did cover this with Nazika Malianti in the class in French about 1 year ago, and obviously I was trying to concentrate on how she was putting things. So I feel that you really brought it out today for me, and I'm so grateful for that. It's very interesting how you followed up how the mineral soul exists and how there will be birth and there will be death, you know, from green, then the color is brown, as if we're looking at a leaf that has fallen from autumn, and then we see the progression of winter and then how things start again. There's a rebirth. Is there a way you could describe how an elevated soul, a soul that has become Ruhul Qudus, how that passes away or how that progresses in the same way that you defined how the mineral can, become vegetative and then maybe pass away? It can change colors. Is there any way you could describe how the Ruhul Qudus then evolves?
Okay.
Please, thanks.
So Ruhul Qudus is our origin soul. And this original soul has many, many stages in the physical form. And the spiritual form is only one. In the physical form are many. Let's take the example. From mineral becomes the roots, then a small plant, then a trunk, then a branch, then a leaf, then a fruit, and then a kernel inside of it, and becomes tree again. But in physical form, how many stages did that one single seed went through?
A lot.
All of those stages.
Right, yes.
So Ruhul Qudus is a single kernel, the seed at the beginning.
Okay.
Physical form are many. All right.
Great.
Now,
yes. Yeah.
Now, I said when a leaf dies, it goes back to its origin. What about when the animal dies? How does it go back to its origin? Where did animal start from? Vegetative soul. Before that,
wow,
mineral
yes.
soul.
Yeah.
So when animal dies, first it's eaten by other small instinct, whatever incense they are in the land, or human, and then it goes into the grass, becomes vegetative soul, and then goes down, becomes matti with the ground. Same way, everything must go back to its origin. As the human soul came from the Ruhul Qudus, from the Imam soul, we are also in the same way. So our physical body goes back into what? Grass, vegetation, mineral, back into the ground.
Wow.
Because our physical body was started from where? From mineral. Our soul started from where? Ruhul Qudus. So where would it go back? Into its origin.
Oh, wow. Okay. Amazing.
That's why the concept of reincarnation is so, lack of better word, I don't know if I should be using that, so dumb. Because we are saying our soul that came from the Ruhul Qudus, from his origin. And when somebody dies, we say, we are from Allah, we're returning back to him. Like, no. Hame pacho janam levano.
Oh, higher. Oh.
It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. The body goes back to the mineral, the soul goes back to its origin. See, it's not rational, not wise, not intellectual conversation when you talk about something that has no logic behind it. Why would people say that? That's a good question. Why does someone believe in reincarnation? You know why? because they don't understand the concept of soul and its origin place. That's why this subject is so hard, because most people don't understand the concept of the soul.
Right. I'd say a lot of Ginans do spring to mind, especially the reference to Gaia and various other aspects of the material as opposed to the spiritual. But I think you really demonstrated the evolution of all forms of being, and the consciousness obviously is going to then rapidly unfold and become of a very high level. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Gee. Shiraz Bhai, were you done? Were you done with your question? Or did you have a second question or follow-up question?
Oh, no, that was just, it just took me back to my old school days, and I remember something, and I just wanted to make sure for you. But you gave my answer. That's it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Ji, Gulzar, go ahead.
याली मदद सर
Yali Madad.
सर आप बहुत अच्छा समझाए सर, और आज एथिक्स का रियल मतलब समझ आ गया सर कि क्यों इतना इमाम जो अपने को एथिक्स का बोलते हैं, और ये जो अभी प्लूरलिज्म, ये सब आज बहुत अच्छा समझ आया। लेकिन मैं आपको ये याद दिलाने के लिए मतलब मैसेज कर, मतलब सॉरी, मैं बोल रही कि आप जो बोले थे ना 2-3 क्वेश्चन मेरे को लास्ट में याद दिलाना कि क्यों स्टिल बेबी बॉर्न होती है यहाँ पे।
मेरे को याद नहीं दिलाना, मुझे पूछना क्वेश्चन क्या था, आप पूछे तो मैं जवाब दूंगा।
हाँ, कि स्टिल बेबी क्यों बॉर्न होती, फिर डेफ एंड डम बेबी क्यों बॉर्न होती, और कुछ बच्चे क्यों ग्रो नहीं होते।
So you are paying attention. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर, शुक्र।
Yes, so 3 questions. Before I answer that again, please accept my deepest apology to my sisters, my mothers, my friends, my daughters. If this brings any emotion into you due to whatever incident, please forgive me. We are here just to learn something, not to hurt anyone, and I apologize. First one, why would a baby would grow in mother's womb and then not take birth, but it's a stillbirth? Why? What would be the reason for that? How does it work? What happened at that time? The mineral soul took place, the vegetative soul took place, but the animal soul never took place. Because still soul does not have a movement nor sound. Because animal soul was not given the amar, the birth, so the baby is born still. Second part of my own question, I asked why. It was not about the baby. It was not about the baby. It is always about the test. It was a test for parents, test for the family, test for the Jamaat, and test for the friends. After that, how do we react to it? How do we react to that? That is the test. Some people pass the test and some people fail the test. How do we react to that? If the question is, how should we react to that? If we understand what we just learned about the soul, you would have, number 1, no question. Number 2, you will understand the Amar did not come. Number 3, it was the test, and I should be Shukr Guzar and pass the test. Number 4, never challenge the Imam's wisdom, because even in that hardship, there is a lot of mercy. Because at that time, what would happen? Let me tell you. You will do some Giriya Wazari. You will go to Jamaat Khana more regularly. You will do more good deeds. You will look at other children and appreciate them more. lot of good thing can come from this one single test. Pass the test, collect all of the good deeds in your pocket. When you complain, two things goes wrong. When you complain, two things goes wrong. You lost your baby, you lost your faith. Why should we do that? Why would we do that, right? Second question, why some babies are born dumb and deaf? Answer is really easy. The Ruhe Natika did not come. The Amar to the Ruhe Natika did not manifest it. So baby is moving, so it has an animal soul, but no Ruhe Natika. The speaking soul did not take place because the Amar did not come. Now, second question I'm going to add to that, why? Why would Imam would give us a child which is dumb or deaf? First answer you already know, to test us, test the people around us, and test the Jamaat and friends around us. All right, so that's the first answer. Second, to test you and see how do you react to it. How do you help that child still grow potentially to be a good human? How do you react to that? And that becomes your task for rest of your life. And if you pass that test, there's lot of blessing in it. Because that is Imam's way of testing a human. Third, the child is born, everything is normal, dies very early on, within a month, within a year. Why would a child would come when he or she cannot be potentially a complete, full-fledged human, a good life later on? Answer is very clear. Number one, of course, to test you. It's not about the baby. Don't go into their Hindu thinking. Ena karma se, ena nasiba se, ena pashra janam na guna se. That's all rubbish. That is not a good concept. That is not a good concept. That's a very, very ill concept. It's a sickness of the concept in us. Please, let me tell you what are the side effects of that ill concept. You are judging that baby, and remember, you are not God. Do not act like a God. You are not God. When you say, Ana Pashla Janam na Guna se, you are saying, I'm a God and I know this baby is sinful. Do not act like a God. You are not God. Don't do that. Second, if you have an ill concept, your Iman will eventually become weak. Not good for us. We don't want that. Third, your belief and your faith in the Imam's mercy will be weakened. We cannot afford to do that. We need the mercy of the Imam. So please remove those ill concepts from your heart, from your mind. If you don't understand, ask. Answer is available. Correct your concept. Cure your illness. Make your Iman firm and don't lose your hope in Imam's mercy, which is the most important part. But with the ill concept, you lose, and lose again. G. Thank you, Gulzar.
Azizba, can I ask you a question?
Ji.
What about a woman who can't have children? Can you explain that?
Okay, I have two people unmuted. I cannot tell who's asking question.
Sorry, it was me, Yasmin Shamji, saying
Ji.
a lady who cannot conceive. Can you explain why then?
Sure. Absolutely. Most of the time, okay? So we're going to use two scenarios. Now I have to apologize to my brothers. Most of the time, it is not the woman, but it's the man. Okay? So don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. It's not the woman, mostly it's the man. In very small portion scenarios, this applies to a woman. Now, the question is, how can Allah give all of the women strength and the attribution to give birth to a beautiful life and not give to all of the women? That shows the Imam is not equally merciful. That shows that, right? It feels like that. But if I tell you that Imam knows what is best for us, then in that case, if it was due to the woman's issues, that she's not able to conceive a child, then take that as the wisdom of the Imam and be thankful for that. I know personally few women, my sisters, my mothers, my friends, people in Jamaat Khana, those women who are not able to give birth to a child, they have done wonderfully. And I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. All of them have either adopted a baby or they are supporting children within their family, within their friend circle, within the Jamaat. So what they are saying, that even though I'm not able to do this, but I'm not limited to show my love to my own babies. I can show the same love, same support to the family and the children of the family, friends within Jamaat, within our culture, within our neighborhood, wherever. So don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Utilize your powers that you have as a woman. Even if you cannot give birth, it can happen. Final answer to your question is because of the Amr and the soul was not there. It just never take place. Even though she is able to give birth, but the particles that are coming from the man, the husband, the soul is not in that particle. It never manifests, never materializes. So therefore, they are not able to conceive the baby. Mostly it is due to the man. Sometimes in very small cases, it's due to the woman. Regardless, that is the mercy of the Imam, but you are not limited to your own children. You can still have anything and everything you want. Extend their happiness, their love, their resources to the children around you.
Shukran Allah. Thank you so much.
Anis, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
I did. It was actually funny enough. Aziz, you just answered the question, but there was one other question I wanted to ask you. Can a human soul know when it's time, like days before or hours before it's the time to go depart?
Yeah, why not? Sure, of course.
Okay.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
But if you have elevated your soul just a little, you will know. You will know. And remember, everyone will know 3 seconds before they die.
Okay. Because I've had two experiences. I had one when I was looking after a friend's mother, and covering for the carer to have a break. And Eileen actually used to call me Annie. And she waited for me to come that day at lunchtime. And she said to me, Annie, I'm going. And I said, where are you going today? And she actually passed away. Her last breath was with me. My mom was a perfect example. And it was very, very incredible to see. She had the chanta, she did the song, Mukhi Sahib came. And I knew that evening that, and I could see from just her face, and mom even told me in many ways that she's going. There was time. And 2 days after she passed.
Yeah. So that is possibility. That is your answer. We have Gulzar with the hand raised, and we have Hamida. So Hamida, let's start with you.
Yali Madad,
Yali Madad.
as you said that the soul would know when it's going to depart 3 seconds before, what happens when somebody passes away, when they are in the middle of the operation or some sort of test, and all of a sudden they come and say, sorry, he didn't make it, or he had a massive heart attack during the test and all that?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
how would he know?
Okay.
Thank
Again,
you.
you're welcome. Again, are we talking about soul or the physical body? Your answer is soul. Physically, he's going through the operation, but his soul is not dead or sleeping. Number one, okay? Number two, what about people die in accident all of the sudden? They also know 3 seconds before they die. What about somebody gets shot, not even knowing that he's going to get shot? Somebody fall and dies. Your 3 seconds and this 3 seconds of the person who's about to die may have a different level of understanding. That 3 seconds comes in a blink of an eye. That's all it takes. Just one single blink. And that soul knows what is about to happen. The soul knows what is about to happen. Does that answer your question, Hamida?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Does the soul leave the body straight away during the operation?
Okay. So I don't know why we are stuck with the operation scenario only. What about somebody dies in accident or shot or died normally? How about we ask a generic question? Does the soul leave the body right away?
Yeah, that's the question. Yes.
That's the question.
Yeah,
right.
sorry, I didn't mention it properly. I'm so sorry.
No worry. Remember, my job is to help, form the question and then answer it correctly. We are
Thank you.
together in this journey. Remember that.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank
All
you.
right. So answer is yes and no. How can answer be both? Does the soul leave right away? Does the soul leave in stages? Right away, the ana, our soul, the original soul from the Imam, that leaves right away. But the other 3 souls, animal soul, the vegetative soul, and the mineral soul remains behind. And it takes some time for it to go away. For example, if you are a donor, eye donor, heart donor, lungs donor, body donor, it takes about 4 hours before your eyesight will lose the soul. Your lungs, your heart, maybe even longer. Your skin and your body even longer than that. That shows that our animal soul, our vegetative soul, and our mineral soul takes long time before it dies.
Okay.
Now, the second question you could ask, why are they still living when your original soul have gone?
Mm. Mm.
Look at all these questions coming from one question.
Yeah, true.
All right. Let
Mm.
me give you example. Do you ever use your iPhone, your phone, your computer, where you have to plug in your computer and then you unplug and your phone lasts for a whole day long? Correct?
Yeah. Mm. Mm. True.
That is the example of our soul. Our soul is the charger which keeps charging our other souls. But when you unplug our soul,
Uh-huh.
it starts to die. But it takes, if you have a good phone, maybe 24 hours, right? If you have a laptop, maybe 3-4 hours. You see, but eventually the phone will die, the computer will die. So will our body. Eventually, because you have unplugged the charger, which is your original soul. Now, another question, where does our original soul get his charge? From the Imam's soul, because we are connected to the Imam's charger. So he keeps charging us. And we charge our other souls, animal soul, vegetative soul, and mineral soul. So when we unplug, they get decharged. That's why we always supposed to stay charged with the Imam. Don't leave the Imam. You leave the Imam, your soul will get decharged. And we can afford to do that. Gulzar, did you have any question, or was this from last question? Your hand is still raised. Okay.
Sorry, sir. Actually, it is by mistake, sir.
No problem. No worries. iPhone.
जैसे अली मदद फरजाना बोल रही हूँ।
जी अली मदद।
सॉरी मेरा आपका कुछ वो मिस किया पॉइंट। तो हमारे अंदर 3 सोल तो है, वेजिटेटिव, मिनरल और वो तीसरी कौन सी सोल होती है आपने बताया, रेशनल सोल। तो वो जो
एक मिनट,
नबाताती, हैवानी,
नबाताती, वेजिटेटिव एंड एनिमल,
3 किस्म की सोल हमारे हम लोग उसे ग्रो। तो जब इमाम की सोल आती है तो क्या वो हमारे जो कहते हैं ना अकल पे आती है, इमाम की सोल हमारे अंदर कैसे एंटर होती है, और जब हम मर जाते हैं तो वो सोल जब हमारी बॉडी को दफनाने के बाद वो डिसॉल्व हो जाती है सब चीजें, लेकिन जो इमाम की सोल वो राइट अवे वापस कहाँ जाती है?
ओके, तो आपके 3 सवाल है, ठीक है? एक सवाल नहीं है, 3 सवाल है।
हाँ, और भी पूछ
नंबर 1
बोले,
इमाम की रूह हमारे अंदर कब और किस तरह आती है?
जी,
इमाम की रूह हमारे अंदर जब हम छोटे होते हैं, बहुत सी हमारी माँ गिनान पढ़ती है, गिरियाजारी करती है, दुआ पढ़ती है, हमारी माँ हमसे अच्छी अच्छी बातें करती है, हमको जमात खाने ले जाती है। उसी वक्त इमाम की रूह हमारे अंदर आने लगती है। तो कहाँ से आई वो? यहाँ से आई, कान में से। फिर जब हमारे उस रूह को जिंदा करना होता है, जो रूह हमारे अंदर आई थी, जब हम इमाम के पास जाते हैं और इमाम हमें इसमें आजम देता है, बोल देता है, तो वो रूह जो हमारे अंदर आई थी सालों साल में गिनान सुनते हुए, दुआ पढ़ते हुए, माँ बाप की क्रियावजारी सुनते हुए, तस्बीहात सुनते हुए, वो उसको एक जिंदगी मिलती है। अब वो हमारे अंदर जिंदा हो जाती है। उसके लिए इमाम ने फरमाया अपने इसमें आजम को पाल पोस के बड़ा करना, क्योंकि अभी वो रूह जो थी ना वो जिंदा हो गई। उस रूह का नाम क्या था? रूहुल कुद्दूस। अब ये रूहुल कुद्दूस का जो कनेक्शन है वो इमाम की रूह से है। एक तरफ ऊपर की तरफ, नीचे की तरफ वो हमारी रूह से है। अब ये एक ब्रिज बन गया हमारे और इमाम के बीच में। इमाम की रूह ऊपर की तरफ, हमारी रूह नीचे की तरफ, दोनों के बीच में एक कनेक्शन बन गया।
Sorry, I was logged out. My phone, something went wrong. Did anybody went out or was it only me? I'm so sorry, I missed it.
Okay, please mute your phone.
It's Hamida Virji. Yeah, I was listening.
Please mute your phone. ओके, तो जब हम गुजर जाते हैं तो आपका सेकंड क्वेश्चन शुरू हुआ कि फिर रूल कुदस का क्या हुआ। तो रूल कुदस किसके साथ चिपकी हुई थी? हमारी रूह के साथ। जब हमारी रूह गई, उसी के साथ रूल कुदस भी गई। लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि रूल कुदस का साथ छूट गया, ऐसा नहीं है। रूल कुदस हमारी रूह के साथ लगी रहती है जब तक कि हम दोबारा से इमाम के साथ एक नहीं हो जाते हैं। उसकी मिसाल जो हमने बयान की वो एक लिंक है, एक चेन है, एक रस्सी है, एक ब्रिज है, एक रास्ता है, एक जुड़ाव है, एक दो हाथ की कड़ी है। वो जुड़ा रहता है जब तक कि हम इमाम के पास वापस नहीं पहुंच जाते हैं। तो ये आपके तमाम सवालात का मुकम्मल जवाब है।
तो फिर
जी।
अगर हम मतलब जुड़ा रहता है तो जब हम मर जाते हैं, एक जिस्म हमारा खत्म हो जाता है और बॉडी डिसॉल्व हो जाती है, कब्र में डाल देते हैं, तो फिर वो रास्ता वो कहाँ रहता है? कौन से जगह पे खला में रहता है? वो जो हमारा जो कनेक्शन मौला से जुड़ा रहता है, आप बोलते हैं ना कि हमारी बॉडी हमारी रूह के साथ मौला की वो कनेक्शन रहता है, एक ब्रिज, फिर वो कहाँ जाता है?
हमारी रूह कहाँ जाती है वो पूछ रहे हैं आप?
हाँ जी जी, हाँ मतलब आपने कहा ना फिर भी मौला से कनेक्ट रहती है, एक ये क्वेश्चन है। और दूसरा ये है कि जब बच्चा, कहते हैं ना कि बच्चा 4-5 महीने के बाद बच्चे के अंदर रूह जाती है, तो जब तक अगर ये हमारे पास वो मदनी और नबाताती रूह होती है तो वो रूह तो कुछ हरकत नहीं कर सकती ना। उसमें तो जो इमाम की रूह होगी तो ही हरकत करेगी ना, जो हमारे जब बच्चा पैदा होता है जब।
अच्छा, ऑलराइट। तो आपको सबसे पहले सुनने की जरूरत है रूह का सफर, ताकि आपको ये पता हो कि मरने के बाद हमारी रूह कहाँ जाती है। उसका नाम है रूह का सफर, जर्नी ऑफ द सोल। 3 सेशन में इसी चैनल पर लंदन के साथ सेशन को आपको सुनने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि वो डिस्कशन हो चुका कि मरने के बाद हमारी रूह कहाँ किस तरह सफर करते 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 इमाम तक पहुंचती है। कौन सा लेक्चर आप सुनेंगे? रूह का सफर।
ओके
45 मिनट के 3 सेशन, ठीक है। इसके बगैर अगर मैं यहां पर आपको समझाऊंगा कि रूह कहाँ जाती है तो 2.25 घंटे का लेक्चर होगा, ठीक है। अब आपके दूसरे सवाल पर आ जाते हैं। आपका दूसरा सवाल जो है ना, वो एक्चुअली इसमें थोड़ी खराबी है, थोड़ी गड़बड़ है, क्योंकि आपने कहा कि उसमें इमाम की रूह नहीं होती है तो वो बोल नहीं सकती है, जबकि हमने इस बात को वाजे कर दिया कि रूह के अलग अलग जौहर है और हर रूह अपनी जगह पर एक मुकम्मल रूह है। हमने शुरू में ही कहा कि मिनरल सोल भी जो है ना मट्टी की, वो भी एक जगह जाकर एक हीरा बन जाती है। तो अगर उसमें जोड़ ना होता तो हीरा कैसे बन गई? वेजिटेटिव सोल के अंदर भी जौहर है, अगर उसमें जौहर ना होता तो फल कैसे बनता, और उस फल से फिर दूसरा दरख्त कैसे शुरू होता। फिर एनिमल सोल के अंदर भी जौहर है, हिलने चुलने और भौंकने और साउंड निकालने की, उसके अंदर भी जौहर है। जो एक बेबी को हम देखते हैं कि वो हिलता चुलता है और खाली साउंड बनाता है, बोलता नहीं होता, वो साउंड बनाता है। फिर रेशनल सोल आती है। रेशनल सोल के बाद रूह नातिका मुकम्मल होती है, यानी कि वो बोलने लगता है। लेकिन अभी तक उसमें इमाम की रूह नहीं आई है। कौन सी इमाम की रूह? रूह कुदूस नहीं आई है। अब उसके अंदर इमाम की रूह है कि नहीं है, ये सवाल बच गया बाकी। तो अगर आपको बिल्कुल 5 मिनट के अंदर ले जाएं उधर उस मकाम पर जहां पर हमारी रूह का आगाज हुआ था, वो कहां से हुआ था? हमारी रूह कहां से आई थी? आपको याद है हमारी रूह कहां से आई थी? इमाम से आई थी। तो इमाम की रूह हमारे अंदर आई तभी तो हमने आगाज किया ना ये सफर।
जी जी
तो ये सवाल गलत हो गया कि इमाम की रूह नहीं है तो वो कैसे काम करता है। आपने देखा। अब आपके सवाल का मुकम्मल जवाब इंशाल्लाह। जी मिस्टर अली खान।
Yali Madad.
या अली मदद।
And Yali Madad to everybody on this Zoom. Just a quick question. Your lecture, your thesis that you've just given us, is this as we very well know that science and religion have a big conflict? Is this science based? Is this science and religious based, or is this just religious based?
There is no conflict between science and religion. Proto-science and proto-religion are like two streams running together. And I'm not saying that. You can read that in the memoirs of Aga Khan.
Right.
There is no conflict.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. जी
मिशनरी साहब मैं एक सवाल करूं?
जी कौन?
मेरा नाम नूरजान है।
जी बोले।
मुझे पूछना है कि आपने बताया कि 3 मिनट में हमारी रूह निकल जाती, हमें पता चल जाता 3 मिनट 3 सेकंड में पता चल जाता है। हमने कभी सुना है कि जब कोई इंसान, मुझे लगता है कि ईमानदार होता है तो उसको कुछ 2 महीने या 3 महीने पहले पता चल जाता है, तो वो अपनी तैयारियां करता है। इज दैट ट्रू? और दूसरा सवाल ये है, एक मेरा सवाल ले ले, एक ये सवाल है, दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है कि बच्चे पैदा होते हैं, बड़े होते हैं, हमें अच्छी तालीम सब मिलती है उनको, मगर फिर वो गलत रास्ते चले जाते हैं, तो उनका अंजाम क्या है?
जी
प्लीज मुझे बताएंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
आपका पहला सवाल जो था ना,
हाँ,
आपने कहा जो ईमानदार होता है उसको पहले महीने साल पहले पता चल जाता है। मेरे को तो आज ही पता है, आपको भी पता है कि हमको एक दिन मरना है, तो आज ही से हम अपने अच्छे काम करके दुरुस्त करने लग जावे, तो हमको तो कुछ भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है। तो ये बात तो नल हो गई। तो वो आदमी ईमानदार था तो उसको साल पहले पता चल गया, हमको तो आज ही पता है, तो क्यों ना हम आज ही से अपना काम शुरू कर दें।
ओके, और
वो बात खत्म हो गई।
वो बात खत्म हो गई।
हाँ वो बात खत्म
समझ गई, मैं समझ गई। अभी से तैयारी करनी,
हम भी से तैयारी करें।
अभी से तैयारी करनी।
किसको पता है कि हमने कल देखा है कि नहीं देखा है? किसको?
या सही बात है, वो तो है, किसी को नहीं पता।
तो क्यों हम इंतजार करें कि मेरे को पता चलेगा कि मैं फलां तारीख को मरने वाला हूँ, तो फिर मैं अपना काम शुरू करूंगा। ये तो मेक्स नो सेंस।
अच्छा, हमको इंग्लिश में समझाएंगे प्लीज?
आई एम सॉरी,
हमको इंग्लिश में समझाएंगे प्लीज?
जी यस, समझाएंगे आपको इंग्लिश में। यस।
और मेरे दूसरा सवाल जो था,
I love my sister. Look at how nice she says. अब हमको इंग्लिश में समझाएंगे। I love it. Okay, I will come back into English. Okay, Shanaz. So आपका दूसरा सवाल का जवाब था कि बच्चे को आप सब कुछ दे दें, फिर वो जिस रास्ते पे चलता है वो चलता है। उसका अंजाम क्या है वो तो मौला ही जानता है।
वो तो है, सही है।
हमारी उम्मीद और दुआ क्या है कि कभी कभार हमको ऐसा लगता है कि हमारा बच्चा वही करे जो मैं बोलूं।
सही बात है, that's true।
जबकि ये बात दुरुस्त नहीं है।
दुरुस्त नहीं है, हाँ।
क्योंकि ह्यूमन इंसान के पास फ्री विल है। इमाम भी हमारी फ्री विल को नहीं लेता है। इमाम हमको नहीं बोलता है कि आप वही करें जो मैं बोलता हूँ। इमाम बोलता है देखो मैं आपको एक अच्छी चीज बताता हूँ, आप उस पर चले। ये खराब रास्ता है वो मैं आपको बताता हूँ, उस पर नहीं चलना। बस
सही बात।
इसी तरह से हमको अपने बच्चों को, अपने यंगस्टर को, दिस इज राइट, दिस इज रॉन्ग, यू चूज, यू पिक योर फ्री विल, दैट्स इट।
मगर उसका अंजाम क्या फिर उन बच्चों का?
जो अंजाम आपका है, जो अंजाम मेरा है। हमारे माँ बाप भी यही बोलते थे कि हमारे बच्चों का अंजाम क्या होने वाला है।
क्योंकि वो तो ठीक है, ये तो एक अच्छी, मेरे लिए तो
आपके माँ बाप भी यही बोलते थे कि नहीं बोलते थे?
सबक है मेरे लिए, तो एक सबक है कि मैं उसकी वजह से इंसान मौला की तरफ ज्यादा बढ़ता है,
अच्छा है। पहले
मौला
ये
की तरफ
सवाल,
ज्यादा झुकता है।
पहले ये सवाल, हमारे माँ बाप की नजर में हम वो नहीं थे जो वो थे,
हाँ,
और हमारा अंजाम अच्छा नहीं था उनकी नजर में, ठीक है। और मेरे दादा भी मेरे बाप के लिए यही बोलते थे, मेरे को याद है कि तारा बाप छे ना खराब થઈ ગયો છે, આનો અંજામ खराब છે। मेरा बाप मेरे को बोलता था, बाबा तू खराब થઈ ગયો છે, तारा अंजाम खराब છે। लेकिन आज हम पढ़े लिखे हैं,
सही
I
बात है।
hope we are not using that language। हमारे बच्चों का अंजाम बहुत अच्छा है।
ओ इंशाल्लाह, इंशाल्लाह, बस आपकी
पता है
दुआ।
क्यों? मैं गारंटी देता हूँ, पता है क्यों? मेरा मौला बड़ा मेहरबान है।
रियली, सच्ची मेहरबान है, बहुत ही मेहरबान।
मौला बहुत मेहरबान है। उस यकीन पर मैं कहता हूँ हमारे बच्चों का अंजाम बहुत अच्छा है।
शुक्र मौलाना, शुक्र शुक्र, थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपने मुझे तसल्ली दी, बड़ी अच्छी तसल्ली मिली मुझे। और बस मैं मौला को शुक्र अदा करती हूँ, आपको मौला आपको ज्यादा हिम्मत देवे, सबको सब सबको। ओके याली
For Shenaz, so there were a couple of questions that she was asking, that how do we know, or how some people, they know they're going to die 3 seconds before, some people know 3 months before, some knows 3 years before, because they know when they are about to die, they start to do good things. My answer to her was, don't we all know one day we must die? Why should we wait? Why don't we start good deeds today? We all know one day we will die. What makes them so special? Nothing. Everyone knows we are going to die. That is a fact. If that is a fact, why don't we change our way of life today? Who knows what's tomorrow going to bring? Second question was, every parents, every elders think, I don't know why, our children are not on right path. My son does not come to Jamaat Khana. My son doesn't do this. My son has a bad friends. My son doesn't go to college. My son do this, my son do that. That was the old way of doing things. And I was joking with her. My grandfather used to tell me that my father is a bad kid. My father told me, you are a bad kid, but I hope we will not do this to our children. Let's not continue that. Our children, however they are, whatever they are doing, put your trust in Imam and Imam's blessing. Imam's blessing. If you believe in Imam's blessing, then leave your children to the Imam. Do not criticize, do not judge them, do not call them that your end will be bad. Let's not do what our grandparents did. They were not educated. We are. What is the difference between you and your grandparents and your father? We must be a little bit better than our parents, little bit better toward our children. Let's not repeat that. And put your trust in Imam and his blessing. Inshallah, our children will be good. They are in good hands with the Imam. We have two, Ali Khan, we have Ali Khan and Anis. Whomever would like to go first.
Sorry, my hand is still raised. I'll unraise it. Thank you.
Anis?
Aziz sir, I don't have a question, but there's 3 questions on chat, and I think Monica normally picks this up.
Okay, Monica, go ahead.
Monica is not, I think she's... Okay, shall I read them to you, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
There's an interesting question. Sorry, I'll have to go back a bit. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, there is one question that somebody's asked. Is surrogacy permitted in Islam? That's one question.
What is that?
Is surrogacy permitted in Islam?
Okay. I don't know what that means. My English is not that good.
Surrogacy is where, oh God, somebody have to explain it in better than I can. Okay, that's one question.
I can explain. I can explain.
Okay, can I ask the questions and then I can come up and then somebody has asked a question to say, do we choose to be reborn, to be born? Not reborn, sorry. Do we choose to be born? And then there's another question. What about cremation? This is becoming more common in our community. What happens to the soul then? It's permitted here in Canada. Can you please explain further?
So let's start from the last question. That's an easy question.
Okay.
Cremation, if that's what is your choice, why not? There is nothing wrong with cremation. Because remember, and I'm going to quote or paraphrase Imam Farman, once the soul leave your body, Imam says, it doesn't even matter if dog eats your body. It doesn't even matter. They put you underground, they burn you, they throw you in the water if you are in the ocean. Doesn't matter, it's just a body. Why so much emphasis on body? It's just a body. Cremation, if that is your choice, so be it.
Okay, good. So that's one question. The other question was...
Second question was?
Can somebody explain a bit more in detail? I don't want to... Somebody was going to explain it.
So
is it about the surrogacy one?
Yes.
What is surrogacy, Suchi?
Surrogacy is another woman bearing a child for a couple. And some women charge for it, and because they can't ovulate, ovulate na kare to biche woman and
So we're talking about designated mother. That's what you're talking about?
Another mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the question then. What is the question?
Is it permitted in Islam?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Say it again.
The question is surrogacy permitted in Islam?
What is wrong with it? I don't see anything wrong with it. Why would Islam have to permit or not permit?
Okay, that was the second question. The other one was, oh gosh, I have to go back 1 second. Sorry,
Because that sounds like a personal question, right? If a woman cannot bear a child and some other woman can bear the child for her, that is so personal question, right? Because it has nothing to do with Islam or religion. Nothing, right? So Islam is the law of religion, not a law of personal choice. Like, for example, let me tell you, Islam cannot tell you that you can eat dal on Friday, right? That's your personal choice. You like to eat dal on Friday, so be it. Islam can tell you that you must pray every day. See, so Islam is the law of religion, not of a personal choice. You see that? Okay, now go ahead and ask your third question.
Okay, third question somebody has asked is, do we choose to be born?
Free will, yes. There is a great lecture with documented proof from the Quran and Farman that every human, not just Ismaili, every human are born with their own free will. Nachi's session, name free will, with documentation, with proof that we were born with free will, on our own free will.
Okay, that was the only 3 questions on chat I could see.
Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So should we stop here?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for your time. Aaj bahut time diyo tamaro.
So good news for next week. You have a day off.
Why? Oh God, that's not good news.
I have